Namaste Galactic family, and welcome back to my channel Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension, guys. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, and comment and share this video. We have so much to discuss today. It is November 16th, 2022. And I would like to continue to expand off the last Cosmic Grid update that I put out, as we are going into the next level of grid templating phasing. The veil is thinning. Okay, we are getting closer to the metagalactic core. We're getting closer to the winter solstice, and this is when all light becomes visible in the shadow realms, and we can see into things like Earth grid templating. So this is how and why this is revealing itself so much, and what is coming up is describing and defining and continuing to build upon contingently the realities therein within the Atlantean core grid template. So you will need to go back if you want. I highly suggest it, and watch my Core of Saturn Black Cube Tesseract update, as it is fundamental to understanding the grid templating that you see in front of you here today. So this is the Atlantean Polarity Grid Template 1 Scatter Radiation. This represents states of consciousness collectively, globally, of extreme polarity densification and reversal energies. This is highlighting and works upon the artificial man-made Stargate systems and the Saturnian three-tier mental internal holographic geography of the Nibiru, Marduk, and Maldek dimensions. And so what you see here is running the primary function of this timeline. So we have core-based structures inside the Earth, holographic geographic structures, and then we have more expanded, more upper towards the mantle, up towards the crust electromagnetically within the Earth's field, within the Earth's body, even within the Earth's atmosphere. We have different levels and different formations of how that energy continues to generate out from those core structures, and it builds upon the realities, the prophecies, the timelines rooted from the original point of inception, which in this case, for this templating, it was the Atlantean 70,000 year ago second seeding cataclysmic timeline of the Atlantean seeding. Really, at the core of this, all of this is contingent upon the original Earth embodiment of the core-based architecture of the Saturnian core that came in at planetary creation history, Earth's history, Tara's history, Tiamat's creation history. And so all of this ties back into that fundamentally. But essentially, as we expand out, we get the next level of templating. If you want an idea of what I mean when I talk about this, if this in any way is confusing, I want you to check out my links down in the description, where I built the foundation of all of the core templating, and then the levels of that light grid templating matrices that build up and out upon from the Lemurian timeline. So I will leave a couple links down below. Go check that out. That will give you some idea about how these matrices build upon one another according to timeline and according to prophecy, according to the energies that run within it. So that will give you some of an idea. Now, the main grid functioning for the Atlantean Polarity Grid templating is about black and white squares mutating radiation bodies into polarity extremes. So this is a checkerboard. This is about the chess game, and it is a game of battle, wills, competition, skill, and basically beating your opponent. And so the black squares within this templating link into a black magic gridding system, a black cube system, a Saturnian frequency, and even that Tesseract psychological distortion of the prison prism system. Many of the man-made and artificial Stargate locations are sitting within a black cube frequency fence. So even if you tune in and look closer into this grid here, look closer into this template, and can zoom into these locations, you'll see that each one of these artificial man-made stargates actually fall in a black square. And you know what, guys, why is this coming up so much right now? Okay, if you think I might be a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, let me tell you about how this Atlantean polarity grid right now is relating to current energies. If you guys happen to catch Gina Marie Colvin's last update, I will also leave this video down in the links in the description. She located about 1,000 of black cubes in the water in the Pacific on Google Earth. She found an infestation of these black cubes, okay, an invasion of these black cubes, and this is no joke. Okay, this is a recent dark energy that has invaded the waters of the Pacific Ocean. So go and watch this video, you guys. Everything in our reality is showing us how the black cube invasion is hyperactive at this time of the year. It's the same thing every year. I'll tell you what, these black cubes come and go. If you were to dive into Google Earth at this time, you would see that there's actually several locations that we're having several of these swarms of black cubes, and those locations would be Cockburn Island, East Grant Island, and Green Island in Canada, Lake Nasser in southern Egypt and Sudan, and also in Chile, along the coast of Chile as well, in the Pacific Ocean. So there are particular areas in the grid right now where we are having an invasion of these black cube energies, and so this is a constant infestation that no one is really documenting about these floating black cubes. And now some will say that areas where the satellites are glitching out, and some are saying that this isn't really actually what it is, and all of these things. But there's definitely something going on with this. One of the things that I even thought it could be is that they are strategically and purposefully covering up these particular areas in these particular locations to cover up something that they are doing military-wise, cargo ships. They definitely have something that is lurking in those waters that they are trying to cover up, also on the high peak mountain points in the snow as well. So areas where that they could be hiding military equipment and submarines, spaceships, everything, you name it. The black cubes are blocking out what they are doing, okay? And so what I think is that a giant portal was actually opened up in the Pacific, a giant portal has been opened up in Canada, and a giant portal has been opened up at Lake Nasser in southern Egypt and Sudan. So we're gonna cut in the pictures here for you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. We're gonna clip these pictures into the video here so you can see how all of these black cubes are accumulating in all of these different locations. You know, how long has the Willy Wonka known about these black cubes, right? How long have they been utilizing this and making people believe that they are covering up? These are glitches in the satellites, these are glitches in the photos, these are glares off of the light. No, guys, these are capturing of these black cubes. These are found constantly all over the world, and this is amping up with this Atlantean polarity grid at this time. The entire checkerboard game reality grid mutation that is running active in current events is also about this 9-month war that has just recently caused the United States Willy Wonka to ask Congress for $37.7 billion to support the Ukraine in its war with Russia. And guys, just think about that kind of investment that are wanting to put into this. So what really is the greater interest of these wars? Okay, I'm telling you guys, this is all on the mortarboard. This is all on the checkerboard. This is the illusion of war that they're trying to paint everywhere, every single country, through the checkerboard, through the black and white, through the polarity, that both sides of the conflict are actually serving the same purpose. They want to create this disillusionment of this polarity grid. Everything is not black and white, but they want you to think that it is black and white. The truth is, we think this is about demographic migration, that this is actually the common goal. They want the people out of Ukraine and Poland to claim those lands. The Ukraine and Poland Willy Wonka have become an Abraham Finkelstein. Okay, speaking in code, an Abraham Finkelstein. And just so you guys know, yes, Poland has now got involved. This is expanding. This is going into other countries at this time. The Russian-Ukraine war has now merged into Poland, which is a NATO participant. So this will give the conflict a chance to escalate on a bigger polarity scale of densification and reversal energy and work under that contingency of that scatter radiation. There is evidence that both sides play for the same purpose, Russia and Ukraine, both sides of the Khazar Mafia Finkelstein royal family lines, which are, you guys, the apex predator Orion, Draco, Anunnaki imposter groups, financing all enslavement, all warfare, and all depopulation, and they got no qualms, no problems talking about it whatsoever. Okay, they genuinely see the population, the majority of the collective, as a herd. Okay, so there is no problems there. These are the lines that have hijacked the Christed bloodlines and have impaled the crucifixion and persecution and debt into our first breaths on this planet Earth. They seek, what we think is that they are seeking to migrate the Finkelsteins back to the lands of Poland, back to the lands of Ukraine. This is a chess move of world domination. This is a chess move of demographic migration. And you guys, there are so many videos from people in Ukraine and from people in Poland as well that are really decoding the truth of this. The problem is that here in the States and here in the other countries, we do not have access to the true footage on the ground. We also don't have access to their language. There are videos from the school and the hospital that was bombarded by Russia and Ukraine on May 8th, 2022. I can't pronounce the exact names because they are in Ukraine language, but there were several schools that were bombarded. That was media propaganda, where in these videos, people who were in Ukraine are saying that the bombs actually came from Ukraine's side of the conflict. So what is playing out right now, you guys, through this polarity chess game, through the polarity, the Atlantean polarity grid template, is that the soldiers of both sides do not know the truth. Okay, they're confused between black and white. The generals of both sides do not know the truth. The Russian soldiers think that they are in tactical exercises, and the Ukraine soldiers think that they are being invaded, so they are in defense. But none of them know what's really going on. But these videos are coming forward that are showing people who have been interviewed, who survived, where they are saying that the bombing came from the Ukrainian army in some of these attacks. So we're not getting the truth as Americans. And here we are investing $37.7 billion. That's money that we could be using for our schools. You know, that's money that we could be using for our children. Okay, do you realize the majority of states in the United States, if you look up the school ratings for the majority of elementary, middle, and high schools, have a 1 or a 2 out of 10 rating in terms of academics, performance, and attendance? Okay, there are very few public school systems that have a 7 to 10 out of 10 rating. Actually, none of them have a 10 out of 10 rating. And I can tell you that they are only in cities that are highly inflated, that nobody can afford to live in. You have to purchase over a $700,000 home to get into these communities. Okay, so why am I complaining? Because I am a mother who doesn't send my children to the public school system, because I homeschool my children, mostly because of this reason. And what I'm letting you know is they want to take $37.7 billion and blow it in a war in Ukraine and invest in this because there's a greater interest that is of the chess game. Okay, they're more invested in playing the game than they are in actually taking care of people. And that's the real truth. And that's the illusion of this war, that both sides of the conflict are serving the same purpose, which is debt and enslavement and demographic migration and world domination. This is why the Atlantean polarity grid template is activated right now. This is why this is coming up, is because we are feeling, seeing, and understanding and intuiting the reality templating in which these realities are being hosted and played upon. And this template is generated from multiple technologies. This template is generated from beast machine mechanics, Area 49, CERN, particle accelerators, sky heaters, AI singularity vortexes that create the frequency limitations in the earth that are called the frequency fences. So this, what you're looking at here, this is the frequency fences. Okay, this is what people are held within, is a stagnant densification of an extreme polarity. Okay, and this is static radiation. These are the blockages in the Earth's biospiritual field that limit the mind and the heart from going past specific thresholds of consciousness. And so this is what is running. And what this runs, and what I've really been seeing a lot, you guys, is what this is running in the earth is deep polarity into reversal maternal and reversal paternal universal energies, meaning deep parental wounding and trauma infliction. One of the things that I have seen the most doing this energy work with people is that the greatest common shared world basic reversal that runs in the Atlantean polarity grid template 1 is the experience inherited by the Atlantean generational predispositional contracts of suffering, abuse, ignorance, abandonment, rejection, and sabotage by installing this polarity grid, this reversal code, into the mother and father energies. So what this is creating is an actual false parent collective that has even taken a possessive form, alien negative form, satanic and Luciferian form, and this is running polarity fields to enslave star seeds and indigos that incarnate with their 6 strands activated. So basically having very, very awful parental experiences, right, with mother or father or both, installing the greatest traumas, the greatest wounding, the greatest predispositional contracts of suffering, the greatest limitations, often downright sabotage, betrayal, and backstabbing. And this is in an attempt to break the spirit and redirect them into a dark path, okay, into one of the black squares, and redirect them into the black sheep of isolation, escapism, alcoholism, addiction, sex work, trafficking, suicide, and homelessness. And we have an outrageous epidemic and pandemic of this at this time that no one likes to talk about. The polarity, look at California right now. Look at California right now, where you can see the expression of this Atlantean polarity grid is playing out in all of these zones the most. Okay, so all of these areas on this picture here where we have this anti-clockwise reversal energetic spin field around the artificial gate systems in these locations, and we have the 3 mental plane tiers, mental bodies from Saturnian system, Nibiru, Marduk, and Maldek expanding out. Essentially, this is all of the areas where you can actually physically, visibly see the Atlantean polarity grid template interlapping and overlaid into current reality fields. And it is extremely visible. That's why I said, look at California, look at the homeless population, how you have such a severe expression of that polarity to rich people and then homeless people. Not much in between there. You can see the continued effects of this with the continued and constant attacks on the nuclear family. Okay, because the nuclear family is considered the most basic form of social organization, and here is where the effects from the scatter radiation polarity densification is weakening the potential of uniting with the eternal consciousness of the combined universal maternal and paternal trinity energy. And this goes back to the polarity running in the maternal and the paternal universal energies, and how they're breaking that down is through breaking down the nuclear family. This grid is wreaking havoc on so many levels of the collective, and the war is between the polarity consciousness fields on this earth versus the eternal life consciousness on this earth. The white grid is the eternal life consciousness, the black grids are the polarity and the anti-life. Life versus anti-life constructs on this earth. Polarity reality extremes are becoming more extreme and amplified in the external when this grid templating runs. What happens as the distance between polar realities is increasing, and a lot of people are not able to get through the challenging times when these grid templates run. Especially if someone does not have a strong moral compass or a strong sense of identity or a core sense of self, many can simply become fractured, loose, incoherent, or have central nervous system burnouts and lose more of their memory. Also, another effect of this grid template is aging and disease. This is a stronger result of this grid templating. Most people who are really beaten up by their late 20s, early 30s, and 40s, lots of health problems, health issues. Okay, this is where they were tapped into this grid for a very long time, probably still are, because we are infused with this during this time of the year. This is more active. This grid, this scatter radiation, scatter frequency can be basically designed, interlaid into what appears to be organic. So this is not natural, this is not organic, but it is basically disillusioned into your concepts of that this is organic or this is normal or that this is reality, when this is actually not reality. Okay, and so this is where cell death programs were installed. These run in and sync with the crucifixion, persecution, and the martyrdom wounding. And you can see how the polarity grid of black and white squares pertains to a list of locations. Okay, so all of these artificial man-made Stargate systems, all locations running black cubes within the chess game, because this power becomes operational throughout all of the global anti-life controlled artificial man-made Stargate locations. The main war, you guys, is over the Archangel Michael ley line. This is where all of the global war is over this energy. You can look at the Archangel Michael ley line running here, and this really runs all the way down to the tip of the rhino horn over here in Africa. Goes up through the Gulf of Aden, which is the major Orion Stargate warfare zone, up through the Red Sea, up to the Temple Mount, the Black Cube of Makaba, okay, where the physical manifestation of the Black Cube is on Earth, up to the Temple Mount, up through the Archangel Michael ley line to the tip of Ireland. This is where the Archangel Michael ley line is. So the Archangel Michael collective is what is on the battlefield here when it comes to this energy. This is what the warfare is ultimately over. The warfare is within the blue ray spectrum, and the polarity is within that templating. Now, why do I bring all of this up? Okay, so I do want to address the fact that as we transcend challenging times, as we become more enlightened, as we release more distortion from our field, and as we detach more from densification and access higher dimensions of earthly embodied planes of existence, that these concepts of these types of grids, these idealizations of black grids and polarized timelines, polarized grids, all of this transcends within us. And messages like this one today may become more irrelevant to your path and less resonant because you're tuning at a much higher frequency. And what we are discussing are fallen aspects of source code. So these are also set to return to source as well in quantum forms that are working towards a greater return of cosmic dust and intelligence that serves a greater whole dynamic functioning. We become embodied and beyond the strongholds of this humanitarian torment, nefarianism, diabolical prison systems. But please know that when we talk about these grids in specific, we are aiming to define what is the templating for the stuck parts of humanity. This is what is stuck. This is what is blocked. This is where we exist in that time prison system where we are loop cycling through the same mental patterns of Nibiru, Marduk, Maldek, and Saturn through the polarity grid, extreme polarity densification reversal templating. And these timelines have been directing these 3 tiers of mental body constructs that hold the entire state of the world in limitation, enslavement, warfare, battle, and wounding that is replaying from 70,000 years ago in the Earth's Hall of Records. It's the same behavioral and mental patterns. And so we bring this up so that way we can see it, to acknowledge it, to transmute it, to rehabilitate it, to restore it. Grid workers, this is very important for you to tune into and understand. We will be covering this more extensively in the Gridwork Facilitator course. So I really look forward to bringing all of this information in, as this is a part of identifying what's organic and what's not, what is serving life and what is serving anti-life, what is creating more distortions for humanity as a whole, and how we can continue to raise the consciousness field of the earth so that way we can release these distortions. There's a lot of us out there. I'm going to say us because I feel like they're a part of soul family, but at the same time, they're really spiritually bypassing what is going on this earth in terms of the shadow work on this earth. We have to be careful to not spiritually bypass. We have to be careful to recognize that this is stuff that we are still working through as a collective. And if you want to go look at the current events again with what's going on in this 9-month war where the US is now spending $37.7 billion, where we are visibly seeing black cubes over particular areas in the water. The black cubes are in the water. You guys, they're in the water. They are in the sun. They are on high tops of mountain peaks. They are hiding what they are doing in these areas. They're hiding military. They're hiding ships. They're blocking satellite recognition out for a reason. And I'm telling you, this is at the root of the Saturnian energy. So I am going off on a rant and a rampage today, guys. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. And be sure to, again, sign up for the website newsletters at indigoangel222.com, and I will catch you guys on the next update. Take care. So what does this mean if you are certified as a Gridwork facilitator? It means that you will have acquired the knowledge and the skills to properly do boots on the ground grid work and interpret the holographic spiritual geography of the land, of the earth, inter and extra dimensionally. You will have mastery skills in hosting your own Gridwork containers and facilitation as an instructor, guiding remote group Gridwork sessions, and within those sessions, you will be guiding remote sessions. You will be able to guide the group into remote viewing, into remote group by location. You will be guiding your facilitation into entering landing sites and drop-in zones and group discovery and discussion time, healing time, and extraction and leaving those gate sites. And if you don't know what any of these terms mean, you will know if you join the Gridwork Facilitator course. We are doing everything from the intro and basic levels all the way to the dynamic and masterful levels of facilitation. So don't worry, because you will be guided on how to format your sessions, provide itinerary, provide a focal point, provide the charting, the healing modalities, the sacred tools, and maintain integrity and leadership in your groups. We will cover all aspects and all dynamics to make powerful Gridwork facilitation and make sure you have a clear understanding of the vocabulary, the terms, and the planetary definitions of architecture and holographic geography. We will work on techniques and skills to enhance your planetary intuitive abilities and grid reader, grid worker abilities, and so much more. We have a beautiful full-length and in-depth and exciting instruction set waiting for you guys, so be sure to come and join us. The next class is November 22nd, 2022. We have a 10 a.m. CST live class and a 2 p.m. CST live class, so I can't wait to see you guys there. Links will be in the description for this class, and come and join us.